1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for selfish, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Work hard and we shine, commitment, dedication. Neurosurgery, comedy, music, Nollywood. SOTK, Dr. Call, MC Casino. We did represent, stand tall anywhere we go. Great Uniben, great Uniben, great Uniben, great Uniben.
Hello, viewers. Welcome to another episode of the Uniben Alumni Series. As you know, this is a show where we celebrate alumni of the great University of Benin. We hear their stories. We have a conversation with them where they share their Uniben journey. And on today's episode, we have a young entrepreneur, a trailblazer in the real estate industry. He holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and Public Administration from the Faculty of Social Sciences of the university. He is Dr. George Ndubisi Ugwuanya. Thank you very much, Dr. George, for joining us today. And Dr. George is the Managing Director of Tromville Investment Ltd, a real estate company with over 9 estates located in Lagos and Ogun states in Nigeria. Thank you, Dr. George, for joining us today.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for bringing me here. It's a beautiful platform, and I must commend what you do. Well done.
Thank you so much, brother. I mentioned that Dr. George holds a Bachelor of Science degree in Political Science and Public Administration, and I would love to kick off the conversation from there. What influenced your choice of that course? What made you? We both studied political science. We're course mates, so some of your journey, I know I'll be able to resonate with them. But for you specifically, what made you choose political science and public administration?
Okay. I'll sound a bit sarcastic now. I actually put in for law.
Okay.
But
You're not alone. So,
but
not stop.
you know what they say that the system can change your destiny. So I actually put in for law. I was hoping to get it, but at the end of the day, somehow, I got political science. And funny enough, my elder brother studied political science in the same Uniben. He's actually the same set with Dr. Charles. Um,
Okay.
yes. So it was not frustrating for me. It was more or less like the orientation was very easy. So switching from law to political science wasn't a very difficult one for me. You
Mhm.
know, given that one has this administrative side of him, this political nature. It was more or less like you coming into your original realm. You understand? It was like coming into your original realm. So it wasn't really more of a, and well, directly, it was not a decision I made from the start. Like I said, it wasn't a
Mhm.
decision. I remember back then at the auditorium, I met a guy that got a geography and regional planning. And right there, the guy was asking one of the people doing the screening, I think Oyakena. He asked him somehow, that sir, after I studied this course, now where can I work? And then all of us just burst into, laughter. Go ask your grandfather. But for him, it wasn't a difficult one for me. I it at the end of the day, going through it was more or less like if you did not know this story, this part of my story, you will actually think I actually chose it from the beginning. It was not so from the beginning, but we
Yeah.
were able to
Did,
beautifully.
did you try to write jam again to apply for law?
No,
or you just
no.
accepted your fate and you?
No, this affected my faith. Yeah. And it was not just because I just wanted to get quality. I was already enjoying what I was doing. Yes.
Okay. Okay, that's good to hear. Let's talk about your time in Uniben. I know you played a bit of politics. You were the academic side, you were not lacking. The social side, you were there. Politics, you were involved in student politics and all that, both at the departmental level, at the faculty level, and so on. How were you able to manage your time? And you still made good grades. How were you able to manage your time in the institution, involving in
Ah,
all these things and doing well in all of them?
yeah. I had a group then. Some people call it the reading group. So it was a group, characterized by different qualities. One of the qualities we used to study within a Catholic system called Opus Dei. And the principle of this Opus Dei is be the best at everything you find yourself doing. So when it comes to the bonfire parties, I remember back then in 100 level, of course, Uniben had 13 faculties then. We went to 12 bonfires. So you know what that means. We, were, we went for all the parties, we went for all the birthday parties for even some of our classmates. But we
Yeah,
still have time. We have time to study. I could remember then we go to BDPA to study within a controlled environment. We also study on our own as individuals. So it was a beautiful thing. But behind this whole thing, a lot of people did not really know the kind of struggles I went through. I shared a part of my story to a few persons some time ago. A conversation led to it, and they were shocked to hear the things they heard from me. I struggled financially coming to the university. It was really a very
you
tough
can
time.
actually throw more light on that, hoping that it will inspire, especially the students when they watch and see it is not all rosy all the time. People have to do a lot of things to ensure, do a lot of right things to ensure they graduate and come out in good colors. You can share your story, please.
Okay. Um, First, I lost my mom at the age of 8. Um, I have a stepmom. My dad remarried, and she really tried. We are 7 in number. I'm the sixth child of 7 boys. No girl among us. So growing up was really tough. So getting admission into Uniben was almost like, come, you want to give us an extra burden. So you know that situation where everyone has resumed school, but you have to go from one brother to the other, go from one brother to the other. While doing all this, I was also doing my hustle on the side. I will go to schools, I will teach, I will do part-time arts and crafts teaching, do this and that, paint houses, paint schools, do all sort of things just to raise little funds here and there. So when school had resumed, at times 3 weeks into resumption, I'm just coming to school. And at that point, you are disoriented. You know what it means when people are already settling in, but you are just stepping in. So you're disoriented. But because of the kind of people I had around me, they will always make me, like catch up as fast as possible. It was really, really difficult. There were times I couldn't even go for classes, not because I didn't want to go for classes. Like even the morale to go for classes were not, it wasn't actually there. What I'm looking for, the right word to use to really describe this. You know, when you have not really fed well, when you have not really fed well, and the lecturer is in the lecture room talking, and it's like you're seeing 3 lecturers at the same time. So a lot of a lot of things happened. This was mainly in my 100 to 200 level. Although while these things were going on, I had a little bit of a business on the side in school. I was actually the official printer, the designer of the uniforms from Red Cross. Over time, I got a contract with Muslim Student Society of Nigeria, the ones from Kandahar. They had 2 homes. One was close to St. Albert. So the one in
Yeah,
St. Albert used to be called Kandahar Republic. So I was the one doing most of the listening alongside a very good friend of mine, Ahmed Ahmad, who is also doing very well for himself now.
yeah.
So we had this collaboration. So we're doing this. As a matter of fact, when I could remember when Ahmad came in too. this thing, he was doing very well financially, but at the time the finance started, dwindling, and there's something I said that hunger can actually give you malaria. Hunger can give you malaria. It's not only mosquito that gives malaria. At the end of the day, at a point, he saw the reason why we needed to, intensify our business and stride, and that's really helped us. It wasn't easy. It was a struggle to get a laptop, a laptop, a mere laptop was luxury for us then. But somehow we were able to go through it. But you will never know. When I come out, people still look at me and like, they feel, this guy is always dressing corporate and all that.
Yeah.
I dress corporate to cover everything. You can't actually tell what I go through. So that's just the basic thing, really. It was not easy. It was not easy. It was a challenge, which a lot of people did not know. Even some people that were very close to me, very few people could actually tell. So that's just the thing, really.
Yeah. Let's talk a bit about politics. Yes, you applied for law, but you found yourself in political science and public administration. But you went ahead to involve yourself with student and politics, especially at the departmental level. What informed that decision? What was that push for you to get involved in student leadership at that time?
Okay, thank you. Firstly, whether I actually went ahead to study law, let's say for instance, probably I had studied law in the first place, it would have still been the same thing for me. I've always been within the leadership circle in every aspect of my life before getting to Uniben. So it would have still been the same thing, actually. Probably it would have been stronger. I used to tell very close friends that maybe if I be lawyer, maybe by now they for don't on a life person, because the level of zest and all that. But God does not make mistakes. God does not make mistakes. At times, what we see as disappointment might actually be God trying to rewrite something, trying to give you a better opportunity, give you a better chance at life. So God knows best why this whole thing happened. So, but it wouldn't have been a different thing entirely. And going into school politics was both a product of personal decision and counsel from very wise people. I could remember my elder brother and some of his friends who schooled in Uniben. Some of them are lecturers in Uniben right now, while some of them are in the diaspora and in other places. They sat me down. I was in their midst, and they were giving me orientation. That young man, you have what it takes. We have heard you talk. Once you settle down properly, go into school politics, not for money, but for impact and influence. So, and it wasn't that difficult. We started from we started from the same group, the same study group. Funny enough, this study group evolved into a group of politicians. After some time, interest was so much that I remember telling I remember telling someone that did you know that most of the political decisions we take before election were actually taken on the sick bed, just by the sick bed of one of our member. Funny enough, he's always sick every exam year. Every exam year, he's always having drip with him. So while he's receiving his drip, we sit round him, and right there we plot who goes for what and what and what. But at the center of it all, there was never an iota of selfishness in what we were going for. It was always about what we could do for the people. It was always about, so it's that common interest, that common agenda brought us together. And the point is, when we sense someone else coming into the circle, coming with that selfish agenda, we could actually tell, and we know how to detach ourselves in good time. So it wasn't really a struggle for me. We grew from the scratch. If you check the trajectory, I started first as a member of the parliament. Then I went on to become the chief whip of the parliament. We, we,
Yeah.
we saw a lot of things. I started seeing the kind of politics we see in the mainstream in Nigeria today. I
Mm.
started seeing it there, and I was getting shocked at the kind of things I see. That can
Yeah.
students come up to this extent of plotting things like this. So it kept on broadening my horizon. Then of course over time we evolved. So that's it really. It's
Yeah. Okay. You have said a lot about Uniben. You talked about how you came in, how Uniben altered your preferred choice, not your destiny, because your destiny is already,
Destiny, destiny.
yeah, they just altered the direction at that point.
Yeah.
And with all these, what can you say you learned from the institution? What did you learn from Uniben? What are those things, those attributes that you use today,
Hmm.
especially, and you remember that, oh, Uniben actually helped me build this character in me? What are those things?
Three things: the power of association, resilience, and three, sense of humor. You cannot go through Uniben and not be humorous. You know, a lot of people will say, so what does this really have to do with life? It has a lot to do with life. It has a lot to do with life. We know how to douse tension in those negotiation rooms. There are places where things become heated, where things become intensified, and you just need a little bit of a distraction. You know, at times, little qualities we learn from places we think and probably they are irrelevant. There is nothing irrelevant. You see, Uniben was able to build this resilience in me. You know, with the kind of how it is when you are doing course registration. I used to be among the last set of people to do course registration, and I'm sorry to all my lecturers. You know, whichever one. I used to be among the last set of people to do course registration, not because I just felt naturally I am not the kind of person. I'm not a paper person. You know, documents, arranging documents. You know how these things are. Okay, you now do this one. Sir 111.
Copy,
You
make two photocopies,
Oh
do
my God, do photocopies and others. Uncle Joe,
yeah, yeah,
know,
before.
it was not my thing. So what I used to do is towards evening when the whole place is, and when Uncle Joe is about to close, I'll just go there. Please educate me. I know you are no longer a student, but just tell me what are those things I need to do.
Yeah,
So that's it really. It taught me resilience and the power of association. Some of the
yeah,
most important people within my circle till today are from Uniben.
yeah,
Some of the most powerful people within my circle are from Uniben. And I must tell you, this is just the tip of the iceberg. In the next 10, 20 years, we are going to be determining the fate of states in Nigeria. It is not
yeah,
let this be on record. This part of this video is going to be replayed years after. In 20 years from now, we are going to be determining the fate of states, and not in the negative, and not in the not for selfish reasons, but to make the society a better place.
yeah. I quite resonate with that statement a lot, because I know what we have done as a group, what we have been able to do as a collective, and I know, as you said, in the nearest future, we'll do more. And Unibe has given us that character to able to always be in a group.
Hmm.
We had a lot of associations. It was just natural for you to just fall into a collective of
Yeah,
people, a collective of
yeah.
like minds.
Hmm.
Either is it both socially, academically, and it helped. You talked about reading group. I think almost every is it clique we call them, or groups in the class. They had their reading groups. They had
Yes.
their social group. They had this group of individuals that they had similar ideas with,
Yeah.
yeah, so it actually helped, and especially for the reading groups. If you are not, if you are tired or you don't have the enthusiasm to read at a point, but when you see your colleagues, you see your group
Yeah.
mates
Yeah.
picking up their
You pick
books,
up.
you
Hmm.
yes, you will be motivated to do so. So I actually resonate with that power of, as I do with others as well, but that power of association, Unilever actually gave that to us. Um,
Hmm.
you have been saying the passion, you've been talking about the institution, and I want to ask, what part do you miss most of your time in the
Oh
university?
my God. Oh my God. I'm a liberal person, and the kind of things I like might not really be the same thing with others. For me, what I really miss the most is actually the humorous side of things. I could go a whole day just standing and listening to Uniben students, creatively, just make humor out of
The
everything.
or three arrow
Yes.
boys
Oh,
or
but three arrow
uh,
boys.
what is
You
when
know,
I
there
had
were,
insurance.
oh, oh, you need mental strength to be able to pass through, the center. That's the road in
Yeah,
between
or
or
two and
two.
or, yeah. The walk of is it walk of shame or there was something there was stem something there.
You know,
Yeah.
I could remember, hearing them talk about a particular lady. They said this one a lecturer material that if say na GP for the 5 points. Yeah, and I was shocked.
The
I was
creativity and it comes
creativity.
instantly,
It
very
comes instantly,
spontaneous. Yeah.
very, very confused. These guys are very, very creative, and you can see how wonderful it has been. At times, at midnight, somebody will just wake up. I won't buy, hunger
Yeah.
won't kill you, hunger, oh, hunger, oh, hunger. Oh." Someone else will answer, go drink garri now, jump now. Before you know it, the person jump, oh, jump, oh, jump, oh, jump, oh. Then, oh, it was just, I really enjoyed it. Now, some persons, everything is not all about, we did not just come there to study. We actually came there to also stabilize our lives. So, you see, that humorous side of things is
Yeah,
actually,
and if you look at the output when it comes to those in the entertainment industry, those in comedy, the basket mouth of this world, the casinos, the Madiba, MC Richman,
yeah,
the
mhm,
institution actually produce quality and professional comedians today.
yeah,
Yeah.
and still producing, still
Yes,
producing.
still producing, still producing. Let's talk about your work now. You're into real estate. What was the motivation behind getting? How did you get into real estate? When you
Okay.
were in school, okay, I think it's a two-leg question. When you were in school studying political science, what was your ambition after your degree, and how did you get into real estate?
Okay, while I was still in Uniben, I was already doing TV presentation. This was something a lot of people did not also know. In in my final year, I already signed an agreement with an entertainment company. If you know KKB show very well,
Yeah,
KKB.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
The owners of KKB saw a friend, that's my partner then, and I, working somewhere, and they were really impressed with what we're doing. But unfortunately, their program plan for that year was full, so there was no room for us to come in. So he was of the opinion that if he can't get us, then a good friend of his deserves to have us. And that was how we went into, and we started doing TV presentation. We had our program airing on um, different satellite TVs, South America, Middle East back in the day. And of course, you won't see my face. I put on costume and all that because it was arts and crafts basically. So I
Okay.
wanted to really build a very strong arts and crafts. You can see that the whole thing looks so divergent, so far from. So I really wanted to build that arts and craft. But you see, after youth service, I continued in that line, but I faced some real life frustrations. Some real life frustrations. When you're putting in so much effort and you are rewarded little,
Yeah.
and they keep spurring you on, you are very good. And time was fast going. I needed to do more. But unfortunately, couldn't get all that done. So at the end of the day, what happened? Um, Somehow I got a job with a publishing firm. Before then, I got a job with a bank and all that, but I couldn't work with a bank because it has never been my thing. So,
Mm.
working with a publishing firm, I started as the executive assistant to the MD. Then I grew through the ladder. I grew through the ladder. I touched every value chain of the publishing sector, and that's why in my profile you see that I used to say I have 360 knowledge, 360 degrees knowledge of
Mhm.
the publishing industry. I draw, I write, I edit, I conceptualize. I also go through the entire printing system, like everything from the start. So it's it was a very, very beautiful experience for me. Then after some time, one of my mentors, because I have a number of one of my mentors felt that okay, you served in this capacity, but you now deserve more. She brought me into the real estate sector. I'm actually talking about the person of Barrister Olubumi Okoro. Uh, she brought me into the real estate sector. She taught me the things I knew from the start. So over time, I started evolving. I started working with Dr. Stephen Akintayo, uh, got bigger platform, better training and all that. Then ever since then it's just been an upward movement until of course at that point I was in the media sector, coming from a creative background. So it was easier for me to just delve into media. So creating content and all that. So that was what I was doing until I grew through the ladder, then moved from media to into administration. So that was how I found myself in administration, heading different departments until I became managing director of a real estate company in Lagos. So that's exactly how it has been for me, really.
Thank you for that. I know the industry, the real estate industry is thriving right now in Nigeria. We are having a lot of startups in that industry. We have a lot of interest in that industry. But I also know there must be challenges as well. And as MD of such company, what are the challenges that your industry face today in Nigeria?
Firstly, I would say the real estate sector is not for the lily liver. It's not for the soft-hearted. It's a very tough terrain. It's a very, very tough terrain, especially with a country like Nigeria. You know, it's a terrain that some of the challenges we face. Say for instance, you've gone into a deal with a family or a group of families. If you're buying large expanse of land, then another group comes out from the same group after having all the paperwork and all that. You proceeded.
Mm,
Another group comes out and they are telling you they were not carried along, blah blah blah, just in a bid to get more money. You know what that means. So at times paperwork have been done, everything has been done. Some of
yeah.
them still go, they still come back and tell you that they don't care about whatever has been done, blah 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 blah. Blah. And at times too, when you decide to use the law enforcement agencies, at times you just drag this whole thing and it becomes really really tough and messy. Yeah, but you know as time went on, we started devising other better means in order to make agreements watertight. Basically, the major challenge is actually in the area of agreements. Then two, you know, the kind of terrain we also find ourselves. You see, after the election that took place in Nigeria, this is one aspect a lot of people don't talk about. After the last election that took place, there was this heavy distrust in buying properties in certain regions. Some persons felt that what is the point of getting a property in a particular region when tomorrow they will tell you that yeah, can't they go your house, something like that. It was a big blow to the real estate sector. A lot of analysts, I don't know, I just see, I read a lot of papers, from different researchers attributing the decline in real estate to inflation and all that. I just shake my head. The major challenge was that area of distrust because people in the diaspora, for instance, somebody in the diaspora who is from a different region, buying property in a different region, when they start hearing this thing, they are not home. They are not at home. So
Mm,
they usually get agitated. You know how it is already living in the diaspora. Living in the diaspora, first and foremost, gets you up and running, even when you don't feel like running. So that alone, an extra burden will get you agitated. So it was really a lot of them started, holding back their funds to, they were not willing to go into further
yeah.
investments and all. So that was
Okay.
that was one of the biggest challenges we had, but it's getting better now. The trust is
Okay.
coming. From.
Okay. Lastly, let's go back to Uniben. This show where we try to celebrate alumni of the institution, we also want the institution to remain as Unibest. As a student, what area do you think you're not too comfortable with as a student? and you would like the institution to change or to modify that area if they have not done so today? Because you graduated about 10 years ago. Yes, if I'm not about more than 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago now. Yeah, more than 10 years. So what area then do you think, oh, the institution need to do better in this area? Because we are Unibest, we need to remain as Unibest.
Yeah, yeah. You know, you see, it's a very funny area, and I must say it has to do with personal hygiene. It has to do with hygiene of the students where they live, their abode. It's very very important because for someone say let me personalize this. If I'm pressed,
Mhm.
I can't really study. I can't concentrate. There's nothing you're telling me at that moment that will be making sense. If you tell me Jesus is Lord at that time, sir, I will be wondering, is he Lord? Is he Lord? Like, because I am not I can't concentrate. So you see, if you're pressed, you don't really have a proper place to have your shower and all that. It's really a challenge. The school system is really trying, and we also need to say it the way it is. When the school system also provides some of these things, some of the students can be very wonderful. Let us not use the negative. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
you this thing has been provided.
okay. Yeah.
Why should anybody stand on the shower or on a pole, on a shower pole, and be swinging? If you understand, it's very funny. And at times you can't talk to some of these people. You know how it is. Some of us went to school very, very, very young. I was very young then. There are some people that they are doing things, but you cannot talk.
Yeah.
So what I'm trying to say basically is that let us have more of works done in the area of hygiene, the toilets, the bathrooms is very very important, very very
Mm.
important in the academic aspect of things. Uniben is doing very very well. Uniben is doing very very well. Then lighting up the environment. Uniben has been blessed with some of the best administrators in the university system in Nigeria. If you have traveled far and wide universities in Nigeria, you see that Uniben is doing very well in terms of infrastructure. It's almost looking like the next one coming is trying to break the record of the previous. So
Yeah. And that is good for the
you
institution.
understand?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
at times, some bad eggs want to water down such efforts by damaging some of the things. So I think they should do more of maintenance, like frequent maintenance. If it has to be, if it has to be probably um, periodic to a very short extent, then it's going to go a long, long way. Then
Yeah.
apart from that, I give Uniben an A rating, I must say. Then this is not, of course, patriotic, but that's the way it is.
Thank you so much, Dr. George, for joining us today. It has been wonderful having this conversation with you about our institution.
Thank you so
Thank you.
much.
Thank you. I've been speaking to Dr. George Ugwuanya. He's the managing director of Tromville Investment Ltd, a real estate company in Nigeria. Continue to subscribe to our channel, bringing more exclusive interviews with Uniben alumni. Bye for now.
1970, we sure we did the forefront. Knowledge for service, for sure we did the work. Auditorium to basement of all faculty of law.